Om. In today's Q&A, we'll take a look at the topic of yogic diet and how much we should drink, when to put water and fluids into our body. We're coming from a question by Tracy, who was watching our physiology and anatomy for yoga teachers session, where we look in one of the classes at the digestive system. And in this context, I was introducing the digestive fluids and the enormous amount of digestive juices which the body is putting into the digestive channel and then reabsorbing. And these numbers are literally huge. So we're talking about, on a daily basis, around 1.5 liters of saliva. And then 1.5 liters? That's like a big bottle flowing through my mouth and usually getting swallowed down. Wow, that's a lot. And then continuing with the stomach, where we have a variety of digestive enzymes like the pepsin and others. We have hydrochloric acid, super strong, corrosive acidic fluid, and other digestive enzymes and juices being secreted into that bag of the stomach. I also need to remind myself of the number. That's around 2.5 liters of gastric stomach juices. So a lot of it. 1.5 liters is one big bottle. Here we have 2.5 liters. Then additionally, we have 0.5 liter of bile coming from the liver via the gallbladder and other juices coming from the pancreas. And even at the beginning of the small intestine, there's some other juices coming. And the small intestine then at the beginning here, and the whole 5 meters or so of this thin tube has to absorb around 7 liters of fluid per day. So that's a lot. 7 liters reabsorbed, and then the remaining fluids are absorbed again from the large intestine, the colon, where we have the large intestine rising, transversing and descending downward, is absorbing the rest, drying off the feces so we can poo out more or less softly, smoothly, but not have diarrhea. Because that is the main catch when we have the kind of quick flow through our body in the context of some mishappening, of some food poisoning, some other diarrhea causes, where it's coming out fluidly. Then we lose not only the nutrients which we are pooing out there without without absorbing the nutrients from our food, but we are also not reabsorbing those digestive juices, which are full of enzymes and very complex biochemical molecules. Super precious juices are not reabsorbed, and therefore it's not surprising that we feel kind of depleted, tired when we have diarrhea, because the body needs to put a lot of effort to regenerate those juices, and we get depleted by losing them. So that, in a nutshell, the context of digestive juices as they are happening. Now we have Tracy's question here, who's in that context wondering, yes, it makes sense why doctors remind people to drink more water. So that is a very common recommendation, that we are advised to drink more. So there is different opinions, but more importantly for us, apart from those details of the physiological scientific debates, is there's different circumstances how much exactly we should drink. So roughly speaking, to give away the main number immediately, at least some 1.5 liters per day can easily go up to around 3 or even more liters of water, of fluids that we should drink. But then how much exactly depends on our life circumstances. So first of all, the outside temperature. If you're living in Bali as we are, it's very hot in the tropics. So we're sweating a lot. This sweater is actually a bit too much for our tropical climate here, and I feel some humidity on my skin, sweating, we evaporate a lot of fluids, even just by sitting around in hot climates. And then if we on top of it move it and do some dynamic, strong power yoga or go running, jogging, or do other workouts, we're just kind of dripping wet. So the more the intensity of our workout, especially if it's hot yoga in some Bikram studio or something, you gotta rehydrate a lot afterwards. Like just for that workout of whatever, 45 minutes or so, you should refill only for that another additional 1 liter or so, depending. So don't underestimate how much you need to refill, rehydrate after a strong sweat. And then on the other end of the scale, we could see a winter climate. Yes, where you could have also very dry air, which contributes also to some dehydration. And you don't feel so thirsty in this cold climate because it's not hot, you don't have a cold drink and so on. But generally, if you have a more passive lifestyle, sitting around, not sweating in cold climate, you're sweating less, you need less water. And there's many other factors like this which contribute. Also, take into consideration the type of food you're eating. If you're eating very juicy fluid food like soups, like fruit, juicy fruit, or even juicy vegetables like cucumber and many other vegetables, they have like between 80 and 95% fluid in them. Same as our body, having more than 2/3 of our body is fluid, is blood, is lymph, etc., is digestive juices. So if you eat fluidic, wet food, then you need to drink a bit less. Some fruitarians are eating whatever, 1 or 2 kilos of fruit per day. They need to drink less because they get the water from their fruits or soups or vegetables. But if you live kind of more on a dry diet on that day, more kind of the cracker type of dry something, rice with not enough water boiled, kind of like dehydrated stuff, then you need to add up with more food on top of that, with more fluid, with more water on top of that. So evaluate your circumstances and then see if 1.5 liter around in the winter climate without sweating is your lowest number, or if you've been sweating, it's been hot, go rather up to an average of 2.5 liter or so, depending on your juicy fruit intake. If it's a lot more, then even go to 3, even 3.5 after a half marathon, pump it up additionally. Okay. But then Tracy's asking here, out of curiosity, this is so fascinating, she says, are there suggestions, best practices for drinking water for yogis? So yes, we can take that even deeper apart from the exact amounts and how much we drink. Also, the timing is important. So what a very important basic understanding of your eating and drinking habit is that we should separate the food intake from the drinking. How and why? So we have this stomach, this bag of around 1 to 1.5 liter capacity in the middle area here under the ribs. That's the stomach, which connects via the esophagus my food pipe from the mouth into my main digestive organs, continues then with small and large intestine. So first, the food, when we swallow it, it goes into the stomach. Hopefully we chewed it well, not only for the mechanical breakdown with our teeth, grinding it up and making it more smooth instead of swallowing big chunks of carrots down. No, grind them up, chew them properly, and salivate them. There's saliva juice flowing. You remember, 1.5 liters per day, that's a lot. So you make a lump, a smoothie out of your dry carrot. And you put it into your stomach. So well chewed is half digested, and you have a good starting position here for your stomach, that the digestive enzymes, all this hydrochloric acid and pepsin and others, can access the surface of this food which you've been chewing, swallowing, and then This acidity in the stomach does a lot of the digestion. So point is, I directly give you the bottom line, if you drink too much while eating, if you pour down half a liter of water, juice or beer or whatever it is while eating, that will not be good for your digestion because it waters down, it dilutes the acidity of the digestive juices in the stomach, and therefore the nutrients cannot really be broken apart. The food remains half digested, undigested. As it moves over, gets kind of flooded out with this excessive water into the small intestine. The small intestine doesn't have the acidity anymore by nature, doesn't break it down further, and you will notice possible indigestion. Your half-chewed, watered-down carrot might come out at your poo still with some orange chunks, especially if you were overeating late at night. I noticed that when I was doing some experiments in that area, like, some indigestion. I gotta adapt my habits here. Good, so back to the drinking. A classical recommendation in medicine, but more coming here from the Ayurvedic kitchen medicine of India, which is a sister science of yoga, the famous Ayurveda, a naturopathic approach of more holistic well-being, keeping the body harmonious and healthy by balancing one's constitution. In Ayurveda, what is the recommendation there is to only drink a little bit. Neither too much nor too little, but comparatively small amounts. Roughly the recommendation would be fill the stomach half with food and then 1/4 fluids, 1/4 leave it empty with air. Leave some space for it to move around. That 1/4 of fluid depends again on the type of food you've been eating. Remember, if it's anyhow soup and fruits, then you don't need to drink anything on top of it. If it was very dry, cracker style, then do drink a bit so it's a nice smooth lump, a digestive smoothie. So a little bit of drinking with the food, but not much at all. So stop drinking already around 20 minutes before starting to eat, maybe even a bit earlier. So the fluids quickly pass through the stomach. After 10-15 minutes, most of it is gone. So then the food arrives kind of on a dry stomach and can be digested well. After eating longer, rather half an hour, maybe better even 45 minutes if it was your main big meal of the day, maybe even wait 1 hour. You can have a little sip of water, it's okay, but don't do your half liter, 1 liter drinking on a full eaten stomach. That is important to know because that will definitely be counterproductive for your digestion. Good, Tracy. I hope you had some new insights and your fascination and curiosity, which you already had about the topic, is opened even more. And I hope that everyone could have some new insights, some benefits, and some maybe slightly upgraded habits of your drinking and eating combination. Time it well. So find a good harmonious balance to nurture and nourish your body. Find that equilibrium, that happy balance between the extremes. Thank you so much for your curiosity, and I'm very hopeful that you will treat your body well. Loving wishes from the Balinese Yoga capital Ubud. See you very soon.